Here's something nobody talks about. While everyone's fighting over tomato seedlings at the garden center, I stumbled onto crops that turned my backyard into a legitimate income stream, and I'm not exaggerating when I say some of these seeds cost less than a candy bar, but sell for more than a week's groceries. The catch? Your nursery makes zero money if you know about them, so they stay quiet. What I'm about to show you isn't in any gardening book you've read. Hey there, wonderful people. Welcome back to Serene Green Gardens, where we're all about growing smarter, not harder, and definitely not brokers. If this is your first time here, you've just found your people. We dig into the profitable side of gardening that most channels won't touch, because honestly, some folks don't want you knowing these secrets. Real talk before we start. What I'm sharing today took me years of trial, error, and conversations with growers who actually make their living from this. If you want more of this kind of no-nonsense, profitable gardening content, hit subscribe right now and turn those notifications on. And if even one crop here makes you think differently about your garden space, drop a like so I know this resonates with you. Now let's get into these absolute hidden gems. Let me introduce you to 7 crops that sound unfamiliar, but have the potential to completely transform what you think is possible in a garden. Crop. Number 1. Goji berries. Now, I'm not talking about the dried ones you see at health food stores. I'm talking about fresh goji berries, and here's why this matters. Fresh goji berries are nearly impossible to find because they don't ship well, but the demand? Through the roof. A packet of goji berry seeds costs about $6 to $8, or a bare root plant runs $12 to $15. These are perennials, so you plant once and they produce for years, sometimes decades. A mature plant can produce 4 to 6 pounds of berries per season, and fresh goji berries sell for $25 to $40 per pound at farmers markets. Do the math. One plant can generate $100 to $240 per year, year after year, and you can fit multiple plants in a modest space. The magic here is scarcity. People know goji berries from the superfood craze, but they've only had them dried. When you show up with fresh ones, you're offering something people have been curious about but never experienced. Growing them is straightforward. They're drought-tolerant once established, handle poor soil well, and they're related to tomatoes. They prefer full sun and decent drainage, but aren't fussy. First year, minimal harvest. Year 2 and beyond, substantial production with minimal effort. The market positioning writes itself. Fresh superfoods, locally grown, can't be shipped from elsewhere. Health-conscious consumers, smoothie enthusiasts, people interested in wellness, they're all your customers. And because fresh berries are so rare, people pay premium prices. Nurseries don't push these because there's no immediate gratification, but you're building perennial income, and goji berries deliver exactly that. Crop number 2, saffron crocus. When people hear saffron, they think of expensive spices, fancy restaurants, totally out of reach. But here's the truth. Saffron is actually one of the most profitable crops per square foot, and it's way more accessible than you'd think. Saffron comes from crocus sativus flowers. Each flower produces 3 red stigmas, and those are saffron. A pound of dried saffron sells for $500 to $5,000, depending on quality. You can buy saffron crocus bulbs for $1 to $2 each. Plant 50 bulbs, about $75 to $100 total, and you've got a patch producing for years. Each bulb gives 1 to 3 flowers per season. Each flower gives 3 threads. 50 bulbs equal roughly 450 threads. You need about 15,000 threads for 1 ounce of dried saffron, which sells for $75 to $150. But here's the beautiful part. Saffron bulbs multiply underground. 50 becomes 100, then 200. Within a few years, you've got a serious operation in maybe 20 square feet. The labor is minimal. Plant bulbs in late summer, they flower in fall, harvest the stigmas on a dry morning, dry them carefully, and you've got one of the world's most expensive spices. The market is incredible. Chefs want it. Home cooks, who've only used cheap imported stuff, are blown away by fresh saffron, and there's growing awareness about saffron fraud. When you offer genuine, locally grown saffron with full traceability, you're offering something incredibly valuable. Your initial bulb investment pays for itself in the first harvest. Every year after is almost pure profit. You're not buying seeds annually, not replanting, just harvesting and letting the patch expand. The knowledge barrier keeps most people out. It sounds exotic, impossible, but saffron crocus is cold hardy, grows in regular soil, and needs less care than most vegetables. That barrier means less competition for you. Crop number 3, sea buckthorn. Sea buckthorn produces bright orange berries absolutely packed with nutrients. Vitamin C levels that demolish oranges, omega fatty acids, antioxidants, the whole package. And almost nobody in North America is growing this commercially on a small scale, so the market is wide open. You can buy plants or seeds for $10 to $20. These hardy shrubs actually prefer poor soil, they fix their own nitrogen, and they're incredibly tough. Once established, a single shrub produces 10 to 15 pounds of berries per year, selling for $15 to $30 per pound fresh, or more if processed into juice or oil. Sea buckthorn is exploding in the wellness and skincare industries. The oil is in high-end face creams, serums, and supplements. The juice is marketed as the next superfood, but finding fresh berries or local products, nearly impossible in most areas. The berries are extremely tart, almost astringent, so people won't eat them fresh, but that's perfect because you're creating value-added products. Sea buckthorn juice, jam, syrup, these command premium prices, and the barrier to making them is low. The shrubs are beautiful with silvery green leaves and vibrant orange berries that hang on through winter. They're drought-tolerant and cold-hardy down to minus 40 degrees, so they'll grow almost anywhere. You need male and female plants for berries, but one male pollinates up to 6 females. 7 plants total, about $150, and within 3 years, you've got a productive berry patch needing almost zero maintenance. The marketing angle is powerful. Ancient Himalayan superfood, used by Tibetan monks, packed with more vitamin C than almost anything else. The product sells itself, and because it's so unusual, you become the go-to source. Nurseries rarely carry sea buckthorn because it's not a pretty impulse buy. But for you, that means less competition, higher profits, and a crop that gets easier with time. Quick pause here. If your mind is spinning with possibilities, if you're seeing your garden in a completely new light, go ahead and smash that like button. And drop a comment telling me if you've even heard of these crops before. I love hearing from you all. And your comments help more people discover this content. All right, let's keep rolling. Crop number 4, wasabi. Yes, real wasabi, not the green horseradish paste from sushi restaurants, but actual wasabi japonica. Real wasabi is one of the most expensive crops in the world. Fresh rhizomes sell for up to $100 per pound, sometimes more. A mature plant produces a rhizome weighing 4 ounces to over a pound, and it's not nearly as difficult as everyone thinks. Wasabi has this reputation for being impossible outside Japan, which is partly true and partly marketing. It does need specific conditions: shade, consistent moisture, cool temperatures, and good drainage. But if you've got a shaded area, especially near water, or somewhere you can keep consistently moist, you can absolutely grow wasabi. You can buy wasabi plants online for $20 to $30 each. Start with 3 to 5 plants as a test. They take 18 months to 2 years to reach harvest size, so this requires patience. But here's what makes it worth it. The market for fresh wasabi barely exists outside Japan, which means sushi restaurants, high-end Japanese restaurants, and culinary enthusiasts are desperate for local sources. Fresh wasabi tastes completely different from imitation stuff. It's more complex, less harsh, and almost sweet. Chefs who've had real wasabi want it and will pay whatever it costs. Beyond the rhizome, you can sell wasabi leaves and stems. They're edible, peppery, delicious in salads or pickled, and they command good prices too. Multiple harvests from the same plant. The profit potential is absurd. Invest $150 in 5 plants. 2 years later, 5 rhizomes averaged half a pound each. At $80 per pound, that's $200 in revenue. But each plant produces offsets, baby plants you can sell or replant to expand your operation. The barrier is knowledge and patience. Most people hear, wasabi is hard, and quit before trying. But if you've got shade, moisture, and willingness to wait, you're tapping into one of the most lucrative niche markets in specialty crops. Nurseries don't sell wasabi for obvious reasons. It's not a sunny garden center plant, it takes too long to produce, and most consumers don't know what real wasabi is. But that ignorance creates your opportunity. Crop number 5. Ground cherries, also called golden berries. Ground cherries are small fruits wrapped in papery husks that taste like a cross between a tomato, pineapple, and mango. They're sweet, tropical, absolutely unique. And most people have never heard of them. But once someone tastes one, they're hooked. A packet of seeds costs $3 to $4 with maybe 25 seeds. Each plant produces hundreds of fruits over the season. Plants keep giving from midsummer through the first frost. The fruits fall to the ground when ripe, hence the name, and you just collect them. Fresh ground cherries sell for $8 to $12 per pint at farmers markets, and people buy multiple pints after trying them. But the real magic is value-added products. Ground cherry jam, salsa, pie filling. These are products people go wild for because they've never experienced these flavors. The plants are ridiculously easy. They're related to tomatoes and tomatillos, so if you can grow tomatoes, you're qualified. They handle heat, tolerate some drought, aren't bothered by most pests, and they'll reseed themselves. Drop fruit on the ground at season's end, and you'll have volunteers next spring. Ground cherries are unfamiliar enough to create curiosity and demand, but familiar enough in growing requirements that you're not learning completely new skills. And the market is wide open because commercial agriculture can't mechanize the harvest. So there's no big competition. Your $3 seed packet produces plants generating several $100s in sales over one season, saves seeds, which is easy, and your input costs drop to basically zero in subsequent years. The story matters here. Ancient Incan fruits, South American treasures, something exotic you're bringing to your community. People love the novelty, the taste, and supporting small growers offering something different. Nurseries occasionally have starts, but they're hidden in the back with weird tomatoes, never promoted, never explained. Most garden centers have no idea what they've got, but you do now. Crop number 6. Now let's talk gourmet appeal. Lemon verbena. Lemon verbena is an herb with leaves that smell and taste intensely of lemon, but with complexity that actual lemons don't have. It's used in high-end restaurants for desserts, cocktails, teas, and savory dishes. And it's almost impossible to find fresh. You can buy a plant for $8 to $12 or start from cuttings. One established plant provides enough leaves for dozens of bunches, each selling for $5 to $10. But fresh leaves are just the beginning. Dried lemon verbena is even more valuable. Dried leaves sell for $20 to $40 per ounce at specialty stores and online. And it dries perfectly, keeps flavor for over a year, and is incredibly easy to process. Just hang branches in a dry place. The market is passionate. Tea drinkers love it. Mixologists and cocktail enthusiasts are obsessed with it for infusions. Bakers use it in cakes, cookies, and custards. And because it's so hard to find, people will seek you out once they know you've got it. Lemon verbena is perennial in warmer climates, or overwinters indoors in cold areas. The plant is attractive with lance-shaped leaves and a delicate structure, and the fragrance when you brush against it or crush a leaf is intoxicating. One plant costs $12. Harvest leaves throughout the season, which in warmer climates is almost year-round. Sell fresh bunches, dry, and package the rest. That one plant easily generates $200 to $300 per season, producing for years. Value-added opportunities are endless. Lemon verbena, sugar, tea blends, infused honey, bath products. People pay premiums for products made with real lemon verbena because the flavor and fragrance are so distinct and superior to artificial lemon flavoring. Nurseries rarely highlight lemon verbena because it's not showy. No big flowers, no colorful flowers, no screaming "buy me." But for anyone who knows herbs, who cooks, who makes cocktails, it's a treasure, and that's your market. Crop number 7. Last one, and this might be the most unusual, mache, also called corn salad or lamb's lettuce. Mache is a delicate salad green grown in Europe for centuries, but almost unknown in North America. It has a mild, nutty flavor and tender texture. And here's what makes it special. It grows in cold weather when almost nothing else will. A packet of seeds costs $3 to $4 with hundreds of seeds. You can succession plant throughout fall, winter and mild climates, and early spring. Plants are tiny, so you can grow them densely, and they mature in 6 to 8 weeks. Fresh mache sells for $10 to $15 per pound at farmers markets, and high-end restaurants pay even more for consistent supply. The reason? It's a luxury green most people can't get, with this tender, buttery quality perfect for delicate salads. Here's what makes mache brilliant. It fills the gap when nothing else is growing. While everyone else's gardens are dormant, you're harvesting gourmet greens and making money. It's cold hardy down to about 20 degrees, actually prefers cooler temperatures, and doesn't bolt like lettuce when things warm up. Growing requirements are minimal. Mache doesn't need rich soil, doesn't need tons of space, and isn't bothered by pests because it's growing when most pests aren't active. You can tuck it into any available space, even between other crops or in containers. The market positioning is powerful. European gourmet salad, something fancy restaurants use, something that makes people feel sophisticated. And because it's genuinely hard to find, you're offering real value, not just novelty. From that $3 seed packet, if you plant densely and harvest properly, you can easily produce 5 to 10 pounds over a season. At $12 per pound average, that's $60 to $120 from one packet. And because the season is different from summer crops, you're creating income when most gardeners aren't earning anything. The secret is timing and knowledge. Most people don't know it exists, and those who do think it's too finicky or only grows in France. But it's actually easier than lettuce. It just requires a shift in thinking about when you plant. Nurseries never carry mache starts because plants are too small, too delicate, and most consumers wouldn't know what they're looking at. But seed companies sell them, and once you've grown it successfully, you can save seeds easily for future seasons. So, there you have it, 7 crops that sound unfamiliar, that might have you scratching your head right now. But every single one represents a real opportunity to create income from your garden in ways most people never consider. The common thread? Low supply, high demand, minimal competition. These aren't plants your nursery is pushing because there's no ongoing profit for them in educated, self-sufficient gardeners. But for you, that's exactly why they work. You don't need to grow all of them. Pick 1 or 2 that match your climate, your space, your interests. Start small, learn the market, build relationships with customers, and grow from there. This isn't about turning your entire yard into a farm. It's about strategic choices that create meaningful income without breaking your back or your budget. If this opens your eyes to what's possible, make sure you're subscribed because we're just getting started. I've got more uncommon crops, more profit strategies, more real-world advice coming. Drop a comment telling me which crop surprised you most. Or, if you've grown any of these, I want to hear about your experience. This community learns from each other, and if you found this valuable, share it with another gardener looking to make their space work harder for them. All right, wonderful people, until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and remember that the best crops are often the ones nobody's talking about. I'll see you in the next one.